Hey everybody, Tanya from SvG back, and today we are going to talk about Midjourney and its capability to turn your image into something completely different. So if this is your first time here, go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos so that way you can grow your business and change your life. I have been creating a ton of prompt videos for AI programs that are out there, and one thing that the family and I have been doing lately is drawing pictures and then inserting them into Midjourney and creating something different. So to achieve this in Discord, what you're going to want to do is click on this little plus button right here and upload an image. This is going to insert it into the Discord chat bot for Midjourney. And when it is uploaded, you will click on that photo. To open it, right click on copy image address. When you are done with that, you would go down to the chat box and type in imagine prompt, or click on it, paste your image URL, hit comma, and enter in the prompt that you would like to utilize. Midjourney will then take that and start to render it through its AI program. When it has completed rendering, you have the ability to upscale one of the 4 images on the grid, create variations of one of the 4, or re-roll the entirety of the prompt to get 4 different image renditions from the Midjourney AI. It's really motivated my kids to draw more because they're able to take their artwork and express it in a completely different way by utilizing the AI. I forgot to mention, this post was particularly inspired by the fact that a lot of people are nervous that AI is going to take them completely out of a job, whereas a lot of us are completely embracing it. And the biggest inspiration from the post came from the Midjourney Facebook group. And you can see what that post looks like right up here. This particular individual had taken a drawing out of Procreate and then ran it through Midjourney to finally finish his creation. And this really just shows you how powerful AI can be and how you can utilize some of your unfinished ideas to create something very beautiful. But in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to take my daughter's crayon drawing, put it into Midjourney, and then I have very basic prompts that I utilized and rolled those particular images. So for the purposes of this, it's the same image throughout every single one. Very, very basic prompts, just to show you the power of the tool. Okay, so again, this is Midjourney version 4, image to style. So here is the main photo that we used for the prompting. My daughter had drawn herself with some bushes and some flowers, a happy sun, and a really wonky looking rainbow. Well, I ran this through 30 different prompts, and we will go through them now. The first prompt I utilized was cartoon. This is what Midjourney spit out with the cartoon style. All of these are actually pretty interesting and really good. The cool thing about these is you can utilize them in your children's rooms or things of that nature just to show their artwork off in a different way. The next prompt is pop surrealism. This one was definitely a little bit funky, but you can see, the rainbows in here, the sun. Patchwork was really interesting. I wanted to see how that would work with the drawing, and it actually came out pretty interesting. Mosaic, kind of a similar feel to patchwork, but this bottom or top right here, in my opinion, is just really killer. Papercraft is another one that's been floating around. I thought these came out fantastic, particularly this top right one. It definitely depicts that sun, some of that grass, as well as the person. This one down here on the bottom left is interesting because it shows a papercraft of a childlike figure with some houses in the background, clouds, and the sun with a big weird rainbow. Double exposure is one thing that I'm obsessed with. I threw this in there because I wasn't sure how it was going to come out, and I really enjoyed how this worked. I think I would definitely utilize this with some other drawings to create something different that could be a great conversation piece in your living room. Crochet plush is another obsession of mine. I wanted to see how the rendition would go. Most of them are pretty animal-like, but you could definitely see that crochet plush style showing through. Studio Ghibli is another one that I want to give a go to. That is a particular artist and has a certain style. You can Google that if you don't know. And I thought these all came out really great. Movie poster is pretty self-explanatory. I thought these were pretty freaking fantastic. Comic book, you can definitely get that comic book look and feel from all 4 of these photos. Chalk came out okay. I really just like how you can see that chalk texture throughout. Graffiti was a little bit lackluster for me. I thought this was going to come out a little bit better. Maybe I should have used spray paint instead of graffiti. It definitely does have that graffiti look and feel if you look closely at all of these images. Watercolor I thought was just amazingly beautiful. I could not believe the textures that came out on this one because it really feels like a watercolor painting, and I just think that they're very beautiful and would be a fantastic piece to put up. Oil painting was another one that was really surprising. You can see this little princess here over by what looks like a cabin. It was kind of interesting to see how Midjourney represented this. The polymer clay was really interesting too. I thought this came out great. There's a good level of detail. I'm not sure why they went with flowers here. They decided to pick up on the flowers. Disney Pixar definitely is in that Pixar-ish style with these big, bright, you know, well-rounded, bubbly characters. The characters are a little weird, but is definitely in that Pixar style. Tim Burton was another style that I wanted to throw in there just for my love of The Nightmare Before Christmas. And it definitely came out with that Tim Burton style. This bottom right one was weird, but aside from that, these other three look pretty Tim Burton-ish to me. Origami was another one that I threw in there. I thought this was interesting that they pulled out birds on these three, but this one they did pull out a girl, and you can kind of see that paper-like feel to it. Isometric. We all love isometrics lately. I thought Midjourney did a really great job of creating an isometric version of the particular image. It would be a great thing for game development. 3D render was another one that I wanted to try. I thought that Midjourney did a pretty good job with this as well. Again, I think with the more detail and crisp lines that you have with the drawing, if you're using something like markers, or maybe even just doing some basic graphic design in a program, you'll get much better results. Blacklight was one of those styles I wanted to throw in there just to see what happened, and I think these came out really cool. It can definitely add a different aesthetic to some of your art. Neon lights, same thing, around that same kind of style. It was just really interesting to see this particular render. Pencil sketch was fantastic. I thought these all came out really well. There's so much detail in them. The faces are fairly realistic. There would need to be some touch-ups, but for the most part, I think this came out great. Oil pastel, I am absolutely in love with. I could not believe how awesome this came out. So all four of them look really, really fantastic. 128-bit was a little bit lackluster for me. I thought this was going to come out a little bit more pixelated, but you can see that video gamey style associated with all four. And then finally, the photorealistic style I thought was really cool. You again can see that crayon texture related to all of this, but the level of detail that V4 is pumping out is absolutely freaking mind-blowing. Colored pencil is another prompt that we ran through as well, and I really enjoyed this one. Coupled up with the pencil sketch, I think these both came out really, really well. You can see the texture of the colored pencil throughout all of these. Line art was another one I wanted to give a try to see how minimalist it would break it down. And again, these are just really beautiful renditions of children's art. Funko Pop came out really bizarre. I don't know why they all went Yoda-esque. I presume because most of the images that have been scraped probably are Funko Pop Star Wars. And then finally, probably one of my absolute favorites out of all of these rolls was the stained glass window. I really, really like how this came out. The colors are so bright. The way that they break everything up is fantastic. This would be a really interesting theme to add into your children's room or a playroom by having them create different scenes and rendering this in the stained glass window style. So that is all the prompts that I have to go through. I didn't want to go on and blabber for a long time, so I tried to keep it short and sweet. Again, these are just very basic prompts added onto an image, so that way you can see what kind of styles are being processed. Again, you can add some more detail onto these prompts to get more and push and pull the V4 AI to see what else it can come out with. So I'm really curious to know if anybody is utilizing this, if there is any basic prompts that you've been utilizing that have really been killer. I would love to give those a try. As you all know, these programs are not free. So if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and hit that super thanks down below. Every penny counts and will go towards these AI experimentations. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. ShootingStarSVG, signing out.